Okay, there we are. Now it looks a lot better. So now we're gonna try to clone this. Okay. Clone would be nice. Let's see, so we need to wipe drive E. I really wish there was a column. Why am I not on here? Where'd I go? I should be... Huh. Did I accidentally delete myself? Wow. I think I accidentally deleted myself. Well then. Guess we're just gonna add ourselves back in here. Hey. Okay. Okay. It's just weird that I'm over there, huh? It doesn't look like I'm focused on what I'm actually doing. Looks like I'm like looking off to the side. Now it looks like I look like I'm doing. Perfect. Hey, what's up, Pete? Yep, no problem. Alright, so... Oh yeah, so he's got some stuff in there, basically. Yeah, alright, so... What we'll do is... This isn't the machine I usually run Casper on, because this is my cloning. This is my not my cloning machine. It's my streaming machine. But I've got the Casper 10 license on my VR machine, but I can't show you guys how to clone that because my VR machine isn't attached to my streaming center. So typically we use a Cronus, but I'll show you guys with Casper. Casper works great. You can live clone and all that stuff. What about us watching no beverage coffered? Hey Antoine, hey Statist. Guys, so I was streaming like 10 minutes ago and my stream looked like crap. Like nobody was coming in, so I was like, okay, that's weird. I couldn't even get it to pull up, so I restarted it basically. Let's make me right over here. It looks like I'm about to do a review on this video. So what's he doing? Why is he doing that? Oh wow, I never thought about doing it that way. Okay. So I can now manage my dashboard from my phone. Oh, that's freaking cool. Thanks for that. Dude, we're getting follows and we're not even streaming now. This is amazing. I like it. This rocks. Okay. Okay. I can do an OBS settings video later on, like how I did the green screen. My green screen's pretty big, guys. Like, it literally goes up to the ceiling. It's not like one of those chair green screens that people have. Here, I'll show you. We'll just do this for a second. All right. Let's see. This actually should probably go right there. Okay. So I will turn this filter off for a second. Look at that. Look at that green screen. Shit. I forgot what I had it on. I think it was 405. Okay. Cool. So the reason why you use a green screen is for your chroma color. When you take a chroma key color, you want it to be a color that people don't often wear, and I guess people have determined that they rarely wear the color green, except on St. Patrick's Day, or when you're trying to make that money, though. I can't think of any other kid-friendly examples. Alright, so yeah, so you can blue screen it out as well, but I wear the color blue frequently. I have a blue Rick and Morty shirt. I have a blue Rad Computer shirt. I'm blue dabu dee dabum da, and yeah, so green works best for me. I rarely wear the color green. Looks terrible on me. Moss green looks great. Regular green screen green looks terrible. Okay. So we're waiting for Casper. While we're waiting, I'm going to check the ticketing system real quick. See if there's anything else I can work on. There are a few things, but I really don't want to work on them right now because they're longer projects. So I would prefer to work on them later. Okay. Trying to go through our ticketing system and close up as many of these as possible. Ah, all right, cool. So, all right, so here we are in the Casper interface. Casper can be picked up from fssdev.com, I believe. Casper clone, just Google it. Yeah, fssdev.com. It's pretty inexpensive for a personal license. It's like 50 bucks, I think. But it's cool software because, like a Cronus, you have to do while the computer is not booted to Windows. Macrium, I think, works the same way, but Casper can actually live clone it while it's running. So the Technician Edition is really expensive, but it is worth it. It pays for itself relatively quick. So it'd be a commercial technician. Yeah, that's right. $900 license for the commercial technician. Anyway, so the home use, if you're going to be using it for yourself internally for like your house computer or whatever, is I think $49 or $39.99. Here's what we're going to do though. So we're going to take this and, well, that's not good. That's the drive. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the drive that we need to clone. So let's bring up the disk management center real quick. Okay, so that's the E drive right there. That's the one that we can scrap. One that just says owner. Yeah, okay. That's disk 3. Of course, disk management console isn't going to let us strip these out, so what we're going to do is, just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So, we were gonna go to this rave to go see Rez, and it got canceled. And I just bought the tickets yesterday. Ugh, annoying. So, apparently I'm getting a refund. Disk part, list disks, select disk 3. List part. So that's supposed to be listing the partitions, but it's still showing a recovery, a system, and a reserved, but none of these are very large. So if we list the volumes, then there should be volume 3 raw. Alright, select this 3 list part. Okay, so disk 2 has a raw partition. It says OEM partition, but it also says raw at the beginning, which is really interesting. So to prevent us from formatting his drive, let's just do the smart thing and unplug it. Derp. Okay. We'll exit the disk part, and then we'll go back into it. List the disks. Alright, so disk 3 is the one we want to blow out. And we want to clean this disk. Should be clean now. Disk management is suffering, of course, because Microsoft sucks. Alright, so we're going to reopen that. Now, I know you guys are probably wondering why I have an offline disk here, especially a 4 terabyte offline disk. This is actually directly attached to one of my virtual machines. So in order to do that, in order to use it as a secondary direct I/O drive for a virtual machine, you have to actually turn it off inside of your primary operating system and then initialize it inside of your virtual machine. The more you know. Okay, so here's the disk that we're going to clone to. This is the 240 gig Kingston drive. We're going to go ahead and plug the ADATA back in. And we're going to go cancel. Shoot. We're gonna copy the drive. Copy the drive. Did I pop that up twice? Yeah, I did. Okay. Close one or it'll take longer. Whatever. You can do a parody and if be you and your fiance but Rick and Morty, it would be awesome with characters wearing rad shirts. You can spread it out for us like a giveaway. I don't know where the regulars are, man. That's a good question. It's just us, homeboy. I invited a couple of my friends to come watch, but I don't know if they're into watching. So. Alright, now we wait. Again. Normally this waiting process doesn't take too long with Casper. If you are waiting a while, it could be a very good indicator that your drive is bad, or that you have, you know, maybe some pins aren't making contact like in this situation, in which case we might have to take a second look at it if it still doesn't allow us to say that we want to clone that drive. It looks like the data is accessible. I can get to most of it, but there are some chunks that it's saying are raw for whatever reason. But the raw portion is at the beginning of the drive, and 99.999% chance that's just going to be the boot partition. And if it's just the boot partition, then we can reconstruct it. By Grover Washington. Nah, man, by Will Smith, dude. God, what is this? 70s? I'm just kidding. So it looks like it's gonna rain again. So that'll be terrible for business again next week. Yeah, it's definitely gonna rain tonight, maybe. I can't smell the rain right now, so we'll see. We did have a decent 2 days. Yeah, I did. So last night, thanks for asking. So last night I wound up, let me see here. Let me pull this up. So last night, I'm doing strong lifts 5x5. So I was doing the year 1 challenge by Bigger, Leaner, Stronger like 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, when I was working out pretty heavily, and I absolutely loved it. I love the protein intensive diet. I like not being restricted on too much carbohydrates. I hate being fat restricted. Like, you want French fries, you can't have them. Now I can French fry potatoes with just a tiny bit of oil inside of my air fryer and not really worry about it. But for me personally, wanting to lose weight as fast as I need to lose, or feel like I need to lose the weight, keto works far better. I'm lucky because I have at least 2 different diets that I know work really well for my body. But so I'm going to be returning to doing the cooking streams as well, but probably not until after I buy my house. I just don't have enough kitchen space. Like, I really don't. I need an island, and I will set my island up almost identically to the way that this is set up, but probably one camera here and then one behind, so I'd have a kitchen island that I can do all my prep work on, then turn around and have another island that I can do all the cooking on, and then I can camera span between the two, basically. So Monday, I did my squats, overhead press, and deadlift. 5 sets of 5 reps each. Now, the Bigger, Leaner, Stronger workout advises you to do 3 sets of 6 reps each time, which is useful. Oh, hold on, we gotta get this clone started. So here, right here, so because the other drive is blank, disk 3, we can't, I don't know why it's picking up stuff from here, but why is it letting us pick a partition that, okay, hold on, we're gonna have to do something else. 167 gigs, and for some reason it won't let us clone it. Okay, more investigation is needed on this drive then, so let's just continue. So with the bigger, leaner, stronger plan, everything is science-based. It works really well. You have to have your 3 sets of 6 reps in with a 90-second to 3-minute break in between, depending on how heavy the set was. And it worked really well. Like when I first started, I was a beginner lifter, and I increased my weight. I mean, I was 1-repping, like after the warm-up, I was 1-repping about 100 pounds, and that was really heavy for me. After the warm-up, because the warm-up, like I know I could bench 135 at the time. I have 2 really bad shoulders, so that was a lot to me. But in like 2 months, my 1-rep max was 210 pounds. In like 2 months, it was gross. I was eating a ton of protein, but it's really hard to achieve that 6th rep on keto because you don't have the glycogen stores inside of your muscles to give you that reaction to be able to push the intensity at that intensity for that duration. Like you lose a lot of intensity in your muscles because you don't have sugar inside of your muscles, but you recover way faster. So it's a trade-off. But the 5x5 program is a lot simpler in my opinion than bigger, leaner, stronger. Like I can get done with the Ketogains 5x5 workout in about 30 minutes, whereas the other one was taking me about an hour at minimum. Alright, so anyway, so here we are trying to bend these down just a tiny bit, much more than this, and I'd fear that they would break, or that it'd be really hard to get them into the adapter. So we'll try this one more time. If this doesn't work, then we might have to go about this a different way. So what I'm doing is I'm coming in at an angle. I'm going to lift them up so that there's pressure being applied to the bottom of the adapter here. And that pressure should allow these pins to touch each other. It's the primary thing. Now, I don't think that this is an indication that ADATA makes poor drives. I've seen this happen a lot. Like, this can happen to any drive, so don't rule out ADATA as a choice just because you see this happening. This could literally happen on any drive, and it doesn't take much force to break these off. Alright, try again. Okay. I'm going to bring up the disk management console again. It still shows up as raw, which is really, really, really weird. You can't assign a drive letter to a raw partition. And I can see everything else that he has. So I think our best bet is to delete the first 2 partitions and assume that it's just boot data, because this is the EFI file system right here. This is the one that it's probably booting from, and the OEM partition probably just has the whatever utilities they use to scan the operating system. So if we delete these 2 and then clone the D partition, actually, you know what? We can delete the first partition, leave the second partition, and then clone the entire drive like that. That'll work. The trial version of Casper will not allow you to It will not allow you to resize partitions, so we can do all that after the fact. It's not really a big deal. But let's see if it gives us anything different now. It might be because of the raw partition that it's saying that it can't clone the drive, so we'll just give it a little bit of time and we'll find out. I'm so glad I can hear out of that ear. So sad. Okay. All right. All right, no problem, Antoine. I'm just sitting here chilling, minding my own business with my 5 viewers, 2 of which are me. Oh man, this sucks. Okay. Alright, come on. I am betting that it's because of the raw, healthy OEM partition. I don't know why it's showing up as raw. It shouldn't show up as raw at all. In fact, it should very much have some sort of information there. It's very strange to see raw and healthy OEM partition at the same time. Because you can't do anything with a raw partition. It literally has no structure to build off of. So it doesn't know if it's NTFS, FAT32, FAT16, FAT, APFS, HFS plus, HFS, journal, non-journal, case sensitive. Doesn't know anything, man. It's like, hey, I need you to go do this work. No details given whatsoever. No idea what the work is, how long it's going to take, where it even is, where I need to go. What I need to start on, when the deadline is. Just, hey, I need to go do this thing. Okay. So, I'm moderately disappointed that Res is canceled. I have to mess. Oh, there we go. All right. So, hey, we still can't do it. So, the unrecognized, unsupported partition is going to be this partition right here. This drive is not formatted or has an unrecognized format. That one too. That one's okay. So what we're going to do, since we can't delete these through the disk management partition, you see you can't delete these, so we're going to go into disk part. Gosh dang it. List the disk, select disk 3, list the partitions. No. List the disks. Select disk 2, list part, there it is. Okay, so we want to delete the first partition, delete part 1, right? Select part 1, delete part. So it's in usage, so it's not going to let us delete it. It's weird though because it's raw, so it created the partition with 0 structure on it. So now we're going to delete part and then override. And now you can see that the disk management console gets locked up again. Close it. And then when we reopen it, it should have a black line across that top partition to show that it's unallocated. Now, we can try to reclone it again we'll have to go through Casper one more time. About a 5-minute wait each time. It might actually go quicker now because it doesn't have to go, why is this a partition with nothing? Why is this a partition with a void in it? Like, what is this? Why would anybody do this? Typically you don't see an allocated partition with 0 format structure. It's weird. Hey, what's going on, Darkest and Nico? It's very strange. All right. Wish we could fast forward life sometimes. Actually, I do all the time. It's called playing video games, but if I bust out my Clash of Clans right now, well, we do that all the time. Nah. I'll wait. You guys are waiting on me, I'm waiting on this. Cheers. Oh, new news. We are now officially open 7 days a week. 7 days! 7 days to die. 7 days a week. We're open Saturday from 9 to 3 and Sunday from 10 to 6. Or 12 to 6, 10 to 6, 12 to 6. Rob is taking Friday, Saturdays off, and I am taking Saturday, Sunday off, and Kevin is taking... No, Kevin is taking Friday, Saturday off, Rob is taking Sunday, Monday off, and I'm taking Saturday, Sunday off. So we've staggered our schedules, still working the same amount of hours, but we have better coverage so that we can get more people checked in. That's my genius thought right there. Work smarter, not harder. Plus, I always like having, I personally, I don't know how Rob feels, he probably wants to murder me by now, I don't know how Kevin feels, Kevin probably wants to murder me too, but I personally like having one weekday off so that I can get stuff done, because almost everything runs off of banker's hours. So if you need to run to the bank, you gotta take time off from work. If you need to get an air conditioner installed, you need to take time off from work. If you have a job interview, you gotta, second job interview, you gotta take time off from work. If you have an engagement that you have to go to for your daughters at school or whatever, got to take out time off from work. Like, everything that you can do requires time off from work. So having a weekday available, like, you can go shopping during the day. You ever gone grocery shopping during the day when everybody else is at work? It's glorious. Like, you can do so much more, get in and out like way faster in Costco because nobody's there. Everybody's at work. So I like having a day off during the week, and I don't know, maybe they'll like it. Who's to say? Rob gets his entire game day off so he can go hang with the boys. Friday night is for the boys. Alright, so here's the drive that we were trying to clone and could not. So it still doesn't want to clone our initial system partition, but it looks like it'll let us clone the drive in its entirety for whatever reason. And this is the drive that we're going to clone to, which for some reason says it has a reserve partition. I don't know. Okay, so that's fine. It doesn't support volume resizing the trial. If you purchase it for at-home use or technician use or in corporation use or commercial use, it will resize the volumes for you automatically. It is pretty handy. I'm gonna have to do this on my other machine. Okay, I don't think you'll need it, but, you know, just in case. Okay, well... Alright, I'm gonna move this over to our cloning station, and then we'll go do something else. I'll be right back.
Back in Boston, we didn't know what to do. So, she says, let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together. Hey, wait. I wasn't alone. So, I'm still waiting for my turn. Hey, wait.
Okay, I'm back. So I just moved it over to our actual cloning station that has Casper already installed and plugged them in, and it's cloning now. But I had to answer a couple of questions for Rob about his on-site for tomorrow, because we get to masquerade as a national MSP that we do work for. Provide our 5-star customer service and support to one of their clients. This dude looked like he was about to drive into our wall. I was like, what? Okay, anyway, so let me take a look and see what else we can work on tonight. It's a lot shorter than I thought it would be. Okay, 1 second.
What's going on, man? You streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Cool. I'll catch up later.
Alright, see you, Pete. That was Pete from Rec Drones next door. Let's see here. We had a customer earlier that wouldn't drop off her laptop for a broken hinge. Like, she wanted us to order this hinge part, but on this particular laptop, we see them a lot, and it's not the hinge that breaks. The hinge is perfectly fine. It's the casing that's broken, and she kept telling us, I think it was a language barrier, but she kept telling us, hey, I want you to order this hinge, order this hinge, order this hinge. We were like pointing at it, and we were like, it's not the hinge that's broken, the hinge is fine. We needed to check and see which actual part is broken, then we might be able to fix it, but she didn't want to drop it off, so I got to note that in her account and then close ticket up. Show you guys the pictures. Yeah, that doesn't look like the hinges. Yeah, no, the hinge is just overly tight, and she wanted us to order a part, and it literally had nothing to do with what it was that she needed. So this is the back of her laptop. It's an Asus X330U, I think. But you can see right here that the hinge isn't broken. It's literally like, here's the good hinge. Here's the bad hinge. The hinge is just tight, and it was so tight that it ripped out the post from what looks like the screen side. So I mean, that is, yeah, this is the broken one right here, because there's supposed to be a little like plastic nub that sticks through this as a guide. And she said her screen wasn't working, and since this is the hinge that was messed up, this hinge area right here, when it rips up and out, that's her screen cable right there. That's the dual channel LVDS LCD cable that plugs in from the back of her monitor down into her motherboard to provide data, power, and light. So this cable probably got ripped up, and she wouldn't let us she wouldn't let us check it in so that we could double check to see if it was ripped or if it had just been pulled off of the motherboard. So we kept trying to tell her that we needed to check it in so we could check that, but she refused. I would say there was a fairly strong understanding barrier. I wouldn't say it was so much of a language thing. I mean, I know English wasn't her first language, for sure, like 100%, but her English was good enough that I can understand her from like 25 feet away, so I think it was just an understanding of what the actual issue was, because she assumed that because she could see the hinge and it wasn't folding over, that the hinge was broken, but it wasn't broken, it's just too tight. This back piece is actually what's broken, and that is what we need to order. But that's okay, it's whatever. Okay, so just noting her account real quick. 2 images. It's not the hinge. It's broken. It's the plastic backing that's attached to the screen. Closing ticket. X303, UX303 US. That was the laptop type right there. Alright, so Emily, let's see here. Everything else we're working on, we're waiting on parts, with one exception. Let me go get it. I'm not doing this today though. Alright, so this is a box of stuff that belongs to my boy, Mr. Adon, Mr. Manic Socratic, the faux Sheriff Joe Arpaio. He got famous for that, actually, back in the day. My friend is an amateur comedian and a fantastic human being, and he started a Twitter account as Sheriff Joe Arpaio and just started like doing some legitimately funny things on Twitter like 9 years ago, and he amassed a pretty big following. I think it was like 15,000 followers or something similar. Like that's a decent sized following considered Joe Arpaio was the most hated sheriff in America. But then the news caught on, and then they went to go interview Sheriff Joe, and then he had no idea what they were talking about. So then they set off on a quest to find out who was actually impersonating Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and found my friend, and did a news interview with the two of them in the same room, and it was kind of cool. But anyway, so to backstory this even further, or even more rather, so we're not necessarily going further back in time, but oh, hold on, I gotta send this to I gotta send this to my fiance. Okay, hold on, you guys get to see this too because it's just that funny. She sent me a text message earlier that said she sent me a text message earlier relating to this. It was very funny. Alright, so I'm going to send this to her real quick. Alright, so anyway, going to our Instagram, we have a couple of pictures of some really tight soldering work that we did right here. This is an N64 motherboard where we did, oh no, wait, sorry, I'm getting in the way. Where we did the Ultra HDMI mod that's super sought after on eBay. Not eBaya. That's how you get viruses, people. But if we go to Ultra HDMI mod 64, yeah, so the Ultra HDMI mod, like once it's done, sells for a lot. Like it's pretty expensive. And this is, yeah. Anyway, a $1,200 console. Like, let's think about this for a second. This is just insane. They say that this is Ultra HDMI ready, but anyway, so we did the Ultra HDMI mod for a friend of mine. This is the handiwork that we had to do. This was the during process with the tape and all that stuff. This is the alignment of the pins with everything, laying the flux down, and then me, before my hair started turning really gray, actually doing the soldering work. Actually, no, this wasn't the soldering work. This was the testing work. Because I think I'm holding... Yeah, okay. So I was tracing the wires to make sure that electricity was flowing from one end of the cable coming out of the leg of the integrated circuit all the way to the other end of the cable to test for continuity, and then test for crosstalk to make sure that it wasn't jumped incorrect, or make sure it wasn't bridged anywhere. So then we had to lay these other cables down for the caps, and I don't really know what that one is right there, but it might have something to do with something else. Anyway, so these are the pins that I had to do. This is through a 20x magnification lens that I was holding up to my phone and using to take a picture like that. But you can see, for not having a microscope, I think I did a pretty damn good job, man. Seriously. He was so happy, like, that looks so much more vibrant than analog. Like, anyway, so there's the backstory. We wound up doing an Ultra HDMI mod for my homeboy Adon. Had a lot of fun doing it, learned a lot. It was a real test of my soldering capabilities at the time. And so Adon came back to me later on, and he was like, yo, dude, I've got 6 more Nintendo 64s. Can you hook me up? He's like, I bought 6 more Ultra HDMI mods, so can you do these for me? Yeah, I don't know why he's labeled these, but here they are in all their glory. We're gonna start doing these relatively soon. They're on my desk. Might do them tomorrow, cause I got nothing else to do. Alright, everything else we're doing is waiting on parts, so yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. Tantrically? I mean, I know how, but how do you convey that to somebody else? Read a book, practice a little bit. Try to stop your urine flow when you pee. There's a good way to do Kegels. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so we're gonna be doing Ultra HDMI. I'm gonna send a picture of this to him. I'm gonna say, yo, this is about to be a thing tomorrow. Yeah, you know, I might as well try to do it tomorrow. I'll come in and see if we can get these knocked out. Let's see here. Alright, finally caught up. We also have that Vectrex arcade machine. I tried calling and messaging the guy that came to my BNI networking group about... Like, he literally does video game arcade cabinet machine repair. Like, power pill arcade sales, service, and restoration. So if anybody can do a restoration job on a Vectrex machine, I figure this guy could, but he didn't respond to my text message, he didn't return my voicemail, he didn't return my missed call. Come on, man. I'm trying to send you some business. Anyway, so that's it, guys. I guess tomorrow, tune in. We'll be doing some soldering work. There's 5 there. Now, the only thing about this is that the power supplies, he only provided 1, and if you don't do it correctly, you will fry the power supply and you gotta start over again. It's better than frying the console, don't get me wrong, it's far better than frying the console, but If you don't do it correctly, we went through 5 power supplies before I got it right. It was tricky, because it was tricky. Alright, anyway, that's it, guys. I don't have anything to work on, and I'm not doing this tonight. This requires a lot more light. I might even have to set up an additional overhead light. We'll figure it out. But I appreciate you guys for being here. Sorry the stream was so short today. I was here so late yesterday that I didn't get to see my fiance before she went to sleep, and then I kind of remember her waking me up this morning to give me a kiss, because that's her tradition. Like, even when she's scathingly mad at me or I'm irritated with her, I always kiss her before I go to work. And she's usually, before she got this job, she was sleeping until like noon. So every single time I would kiss her before I went to work, and I don't think she knew that, because the last time we had a dispute, I told her that the next day. I was like, you know, I kiss you every single day, and I have since you moved in 2.5 years ago. And she was like, no. And I was like, I kiss you every time before I go to work. I was like, sometimes you wake up, sometimes you grumble, sometimes you stay asleep. Most of the time you stay asleep. I was like, I've kissed you every single day for the past 2.5 years, right before I go to work. So I think she's continuing that tradition, because now she has to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning. So she leaves like 45 minutes ahead of like my wake up schedule. So anyway, I don't have to work out. I'm done for the day, and I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna play Magic the Gathering. All right. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for tuning in to the Rad Computers Computer Repair channel. I hope you guys have a very rad evening. Peace out.